Hi, good morning, everyone. And actually, there was an error in typing the episode numbers. So this one is actually the 54th episode. So welcome to the 54th episode of Let's Talk About Market. Sorry that I couldn't do the live stream yesterday. I mean, there was some personal commitment that I had, so we couldn't do it. But I mean, if we see the Nifty index overall, basically, in this last 2 to 3 days, it has gone in a range. But if we see many of the data, I mean, there is honestly a bit of a conflicting data that we see in the short term. But nevertheless, let's address it and let's see how to approach this market. Okay. So please let me know once you all are able to see my screen. I'm sharing my screen, and please let me know once you all are able to hear me properly. Okay, please just put it in the chat box once you all are able to hear me and see my screen, so that we can get started. Okay, Thanks for the confirmation. Okay, great. Thanks for the confirmation. So, as far as the Nifty index is concerned, so over here, there is one difference that you might see on strike and trading view is that on strike, the candle is from 9:15 to 10:15 and so on. In trading view, there are couple of options that are there. That is, 9:30 to 10:30 is also one option, and the other option is I think from 9 to 10, 10 to 11 and so on. Okay, so that's where there might be a slight difference between trading view and strike, but that is the reason. But nevertheless, more or less, if we see the data, I think that this support level should ideally be I mean, we should be holding this support level. The 40-hour exponential average is somewhere around 25,900, and this trend line support is somewhere around 25,880. Now, I'll tell you the reason why I think this might end up holding. That is, despite the RMI going into negative zone and so on. So maybe this candle or the next candle we can get some a bit of a correction or consolidation, and in that case maybe 25,875 or something. That is the level on the downside that it is showing. That might be tested, but at this point of time, I don't think there should be a significant correction. At the max, even if the Nifty index does correct, then earlier we had drawn this falling channel, but since the it has broken above this high and again come back, so I think this should be the broader range in which the Nifty should trade. But when you look at the the options data, I mean, that is giving us some clue that 26,000 is a very, very important support zone. So if you see over here, the date I've selected is 4, and I'm making it combined OI. Okay, now combined OI means it is a combination of all this expiry. Okay, that means on fourth hour people position, on 11th hour people position, and so on for all the expiry. So I usually have this habit of looking at combined OI. So definitely today there has been a good amount of call writing that is visible. But if you see the open interest, so if you just zoom out, you will understand that 26,000 still has a very, very strong open interest. And if you see the future rate, so this we are plotting it based on the cash prices. That is because on the weekly expiry and so on, usually the synthetic futures price is somewhere around the spot price. But if you see the actual future, it is at 26,071. So I think that 26,000 has a huge open interest, and this should act as a good support in the near term. And adding to that, just a while back I was even checking the max pain, basically the trend level. Okay, so if you see the trend over here, it is also at 26,000, right? If you go to the intraday and see the last 4 5 days ka data, so somewhere around 26,000 it is constant. There is a bit of a dip in between, but over here also, this is also telling me that 26,000 should act as a good support. So that is the reason. And this, along with, if I see the Nifty index, at this trend line and the moving average, so all these factors are making me think that maybe this should be held. Now I don't know whether there will be a bit more further consolidation, or you may end up something like this and only then pick up, or it will pick up from here only. I don't know, but this is what I think that should happen. Now, in the start, I mentioned that there is a bit of a conflicting data that we are seeing. That is because, when you see the OI, when you see the overall setup, technically also it looks bullish and so on. But if you see the diffusion indicator, okay, so in the past 2 to 3 days, in fact, after this high was hit, right, and in this consolidation, there is some weakness of breadth that we have started to see. Now, by breadth, I mean that many of the stocks seems to be breaking above the 20 SMA, and that's why this percentage from 90 it has come down to 66. Even if you see the 50-day, I mean, they had touched near this upper end, and there is a minor dip over here. Now, I have seen this, that when the market continues to rise higher, what happens is that you see something like this, right? After that, it gets in a range. It will still continue to rise higher, but as the up move progresses, the breadth keeps on narrowing, right? So this is where, once you have hit this mark over here, so after that, it is possible that the breadth may get a bit narrower, and that's where chasing the outperformers or being with the outperformers will become very important. Okay, this might not be that phase that you pick up any large stock and you will end up making money. That might not be the case. So you will have to be a little more selective, and try to find those setups where the averages are held and there is a crossover that is happening. I think those are the ones that will work well, rather than you trying to anticipate the ones that have been beaten down and where the up move will happen. And for that only, I think even if you look at the top down approach, I mean, first identifying the sectors and then going into stocks, even that would help. In fact, if you'll remember, we had spoken about the Nifty PSC as well. Yesterday, when I was not there, I mean, that was the index that had broken out. So, I was talking about this, right? That there was a big consolidation happening. And yesterday, there was a breakout from this consolidation. Now, what happened today was there was a dip. But if you go on the hourly chart, you will realize that there was a breakout, right? And after that, there has been this retest of the breakout, and possibly this index should now again start rising higher. In fact, someone was asking me where, why should we look at, or what is the use of the last candle close. So here it is. See, if I go to the RMI scanner, okay, and if I do basically say all the FNO stocks for now, right? Only the FNO stocks. So over there, FNO stocks and last close. So last close will tell you about yesterday, right? So if you see, a lot of stocks had given a bullish crossover, which were PSUs. Okay, BHEL was one due to the results. So it had given a bullish crossover yesterday, and today also it is up 4%. Then you had IOC again. Bullish crossover was given yesterday. You have a follow through of that of 1.5%. NTPC is there, NMDC is there. A lot of PSUs had given a bullish crossover, and those all were respecting the support levels as well, right? You have Petronet, Oil India, and so on. So the basic point that I'm trying to make is that a lot of PSUs has given a bullish crossover yesterday. So I probably think that this was one index that had not seen much of a rally, but now the way the setup is, I think this should do well. That is because it is respecting the averages also pretty well. And if you see the weekly chart, there has been a bullish crossover over here. So i so i think it should do well, and partly also because there was this major breakout that we had seen in 2023, right? Somewhere over here. right? So it, I mean, when you have a consolidation breakout after 15 years, right? These sort of trend does not fizzle out, in just 1 or 2 years of up move. Ideally, they should do well. Now, the only question is that, whether they do something like this and then go up, or they go up immediately. I mean, those are the only things that we need to take a call on. But I think broadly, they should be inching higher, right? So now, given that the market environment is conducive for an up move, that is because we have spoken of the things like, short covering that is expected to play out, where FIs are short, and the breadth also has been relatively weak, and so on. I mean, there are a lot of factors that are supporting that the stocks or the indices should be inching higher. So in that environment, the expectation will be that, PSU index eventually catches up and it sees an up move. Because, as I mentioned, just to think that the up move will get over in just 1 or 2 years of up move. In fact, if you see the breakout happened in April 2023, so it is technically just 1 year of up move that we had seen so far, right? And after that, there has been a pretty big correction also. So I think there is still a belief that, it is PSU index and so on. You should not be looking at it. Government will come, they will interfere, and all those things. But honestly, if I look at the charts, uh, it looks good. In fact, even if you see the monthly setup, it's probably what we would be wanting to look out for, right? In a correction, the averages are held, and now it is trying to turn around, and also the RMI is almost back to the zero line, right? And yeah, see, in any of the up move that has to happen, right? Ideally, uh, we end up seeing divergence before forming a major top, right? So over here, this is the first time that the RSI made 92, after this bigger consolidation, right? So I would expect that there would be couple of divergence before it actually tops out. So in that sense, I sense that, there could be still a big move that would be around the corner in the coming weeks and months. That is what my belief is. So that's where, each time when I will give those positive, when I'll get those positive indication that a breakout is happening or a momentum is picking up, I think this sector will surely be on my radar for that purpose. Okay. So that is there. And then, if you see the other thing, I mean, I was just noticing the data today. So even in diffusion indicator, the percentage of stock about 20 SMA, for mid cap also it has, sorry, so for the mid cap index also it has hit around this 80 mark, yesterday. It's only now small cap where, this has not been hit on the upside. So, I would be still hopeful that, we get this expansion in breadth. But in mid cap and in the Nifty 50, I would expect that probably, the up moves can get narrower. So what might happen is that after some bit of dip over here, you will again see this indicator rising higher, and again in this up move there will be some participation. But as the up move progresses, like you see over here, the breadth might end up getting a bit narrower. So that is something you need to keep in mind. So that's why, don't be in the hopes that the underperformer will eventually come back and all those things. I mean, don't be in that hope, because it will be a little risky. And then, if I am seeing the sentiment indicators, there is not much change, apart from the fact that yes, yesterday the FIs did short a bit. So that was one noteworthy thing. So while the Nifty index had gone up, they had built a position of somewhere around 6-7 thousand contracts short. And in the overall scheme of things, I would still expect that they are at the lower end of the range. So I had mentioned it a number of times in the past. So it's only when it comes around, say, plus 60,000 or something like that, that's where I'll be more skeptical and scared, and think that is there a top in the making from a short to medium term perspective. But otherwise, things look good. Many of the stocks and indices index, they had given this breakout. So in this small cap, there has been this breakout, and it seems to be steadily inching higher. At some point of time, we should see the pickup in the momentum, and see a much greater breadth, which is honestly, I know that is not the case. And there are the participation is not that great, but I would think that may happen. And if you see the leading sectors, it is basically the PSU index, PSU bank index. It has been metals all along the way. So there was this good consolidation and then a breakout. So that is there. In fact, yesterday I'd seen even power giving a good jump. So this is actually BSC power index. Okay, but power index was also the one that was giving good move. And yeah, I mean, and we have infra and all those things, that have been inching higher. And infra has many of those names like Reliance, L&T, Bharti, and those are all making new highs. And that's where you're seeing this index making highs. So broadly, I would still think that IT, which has been sort of a dark horse, and I think over here also we might end up seeing participation. The move will be a lot more stronger and clear once it breaks and sustains above the 40-hour exponential average, which 40-week, sorry. So, which at some point I think that will happen. Just need to be a little patient over there. So and as I was mentioning earlier as well, right, there will be some sectors that you might end up seeing move happening. Like say someday, yesterday it was PSU that was rising higher, the day before that it was metals that was rising higher. So you might end up seeing those rotation. In such cases, it may so happen that the Nifty index may or may not correct significantly, but you will have this sector rotation happening. And that's where ideally, if you have those bullish bias and be less skeptical of the rally, that might probably help. And of course, doing the right stock selection would again be important. And that's where scannings and scanning rigorously, and trying to find the best setup, that is what ideally the job would be for you. So yeah, uh, you know uh, so I'm once again mentioning that if at all you want to find some good setups, try to find the stocks which are trading above the averages and trending higher, right? Mm, so yeah, in this case, see, HPCL has a good pattern over here, right? In fact, what is happening is that there is a bullish crossover, plus there has been this cup and handle breakout as well, right? So these are the ways that you will have to identify the stock and find the setup, which suits best your personality. But yes, I mean, I have given scans, and I mean, I have given different ways of scanning in the past few days. See, even stock like Polycab, it has been respecting the averages and giving a bullish crossover. Now I know many people might have those apprehension that it is overvalued and so on, but that's where, if you're a trader, I mean, you're not concerned with overvaluation, undervaluation, you're just concerned with the setup, right? And that's where, if you see something like Polycab, it is trending so well on the averages. Again, there has been this minor consolidation, and it has risen higher. So that's how you will have to pick up stocks, and you will have to see how things unfold. And yeah, I think that is the way forward. Of course, those who are into price action, and they don't care about momentum and all those things, you can go to Dow Trend Scanner, go over there. So say for example, FNO stocks, if I select, do which are the stocks which are going from down to up, and try to focus on those stocks. Okay, you will be able to get those stocks easily when you scan it through this. Maybe this can also help you in finding the stocks where the reversals are happening very quickly. Okay, so if you're a very short term trader, go for hourly. Otherwise, if you're a bit positional, go for daily, and so on, right? So yeah, I think that's what I have today. If you'll have any questions, please let me know. Vishal, sure. चीन में यूपीआई से डिपॉजिट कर लिए, कोई दिक्कत होगा क्या? I don't get what you're saying. Sorry. So yeah. Anyways, are there any questions? We can probably take it up one by one, if there are any, and if there are, of course, any conceptual questions that you want to ask or about any feature, please let me know. Okay. And also one more reminder. There is a. So I was on leave yesterday, so I'm not sure. But yes, we have a webinar on Saturday. Okay. So yeah, I think we still need to make a post of that. But there is a webinar on Saturday on rollover. Please make sure to enroll it. The link will be posted over here. I think. Wait, it should be. Yeah. So you can see over here. Okay, you might have to go to the India charts handle. So it will be posted on Strike also today. You can go over here and you can register for the Zoom webinar that we have on Saturday, right? At 10 a.m. We'll be talking about rollovers and how to identify the stocks based on that, and what is it that it should be expected. So those all things we'll try and cover. Trade with Sarthak, silver, 5 waves down. Okay, yeah. Let's stick to strike and things related to strike. Uh, okay, so yeah, I mean, see, yeah, I don't want to talk about alien wave, but just focus on the trend. That is what I would say. I understand that you're saying that it's in fifth wave, but when you look at the weekly picture, it says a different story. So yeah, but anyways, let's not get into Elliott wave. As of now, if you see, the index has been trending higher very nicely with the averages and so on. So yeah, I mean, as long as the reversal does not happen, it's better to stick with the trend. Uh, Mitanshu says, "Hi Jay, what should one do if the RMI gives a weekly crossover down while the..." So Mitanshu, it totally, see, when you're executing on a stock. See, these are all judgmental questions, frankly, and it all depends on your behavior. Okay, I'll just try to address how I would think about it. Uh, See, if at all some stock is giving a bearish crossover on a weekly time frame, I will first try and understand what is happening in the stock, because as I have mentioned earlier as well, that, see, I'll try to give you in a more contextual way so that you understand what I'm trying to say. Now, see, over here in this past 5 weeks, the stock has been inching higher 10% every day. I mean, every week. And in the next 5 weeks, if the stock is inching higher 5% in a week, and then in the next up move the stock is inching higher 3% every week. So what is happening is that the momentum was very high over here, but now it would be falling, right? Because momentum is nothing but your rate of change, and the rate of change is decreasing. Now, does a sell crossover means that the stock is not rising? That is not true, right? Over here, the stock is still rising, but the momentum is falling, right? So then the question would be, as long as the trend reversal on the price action does not confirm, you need to stay put. Okay. Now, if you say that if the Nifty is bullish, I know that the Nifty index is doing good and there is no trend reversal seen on the stock, I would tend to stay with it. Okay, as long as the 20 period of whatever you are watching, whether daily, weekly, that is holding, I would tend to be with that. Okay, and it's only when the 20 breaks, then I will make a judgment whether I should wait till 40 or I should book out. So it all depends on the situation as well and how things are playing out. So say for example, if this same situation would have arisen, if in the sentiment indicator say FI's positioning is somewhere over here, okay, then I would have tightened my reversal even more. But because I know that there is still a runway that is left, according to me, I would be less worried about the signals and more focus on whether the price reversal is happening or no. If it is not happening, I might want to still stay put, because the RMI sell might be happening only because of this. Because earlier they must have rallied very hard, and now the pace of the up move is slowing down. So that is my answer to you. Frankly, that it's not, I mean, it's very situational, and it depends upon your judgment also about the market. So there is no right or wrong over here, or there is no fixed rule that this is what you need to do, but it is your judgment and your ability to predict, I mean, understand the market structure, how it is, that will help you determine to maximize your profit. Else, the rule is that only that 20 and 40, these are the two important levels. 40 breaks, I mean, you have to step aside. But the problem with that is that the 40 might be a bit lower as well, right? So should we wait, should we not wait? I mean, that is the judgment call that we need to take, looking at the market situation. Okay, so I'm sorry that there is no straight answer to this, but I've tried my best to explain you how to think about it. So think of the overall market. How long are we, I mean, where are we in the market up move, and then take a situational call. Okay. Is there any tool that so far that scanner is not live yet, Mohan? It will take a little bit of time, but you will be able to get it probably in few weeks time. Now please don't ask me what does few weeks mean, but these are all things on our agenda to get those scanners. Okay. Really good observation about getting into the leaders and not falling the counters, learning every day a bit about how to use all the tools. Great, GP Kalwa. I mean, that is the whole motive with which we are doing this live session. Because I have seen that many of the people do try to predict tops, bottoms, just based on the fear. But we have to be a lot more objective, right? I mean, we have been constantly speaking about PSU banks. The one reason was this was the breakout, and you can see after that, despite of all the odds, it has been inching higher. And in any up move or down move, you'll see that those averages are not broken, especially 20, and those are the ones that are trending and that should do well. I mean, this same case is with metal as well. So forget about so all I'm trying to say is that don't go with your personal bias that, this is happening, Trump is doing that, Trump is doing that, every day is changes, right? He doesn't know what he's going to say tomorrow. So that is the case. So that's where you need to trust the charts and somewhere go with the flow, and yeah, and try to have that belief that whatever we are seeing in the chart, that should unfold. What is Dow Jones scanner? So there is no Dow Jones scanner. It is Dow Trend scanner. So Dow Trend, as you all might be aware, is about higher high, higher lows, right? So this is what the Dow Trend scanner is. So any stock which would be breaking its previous low, for example, okay, it will come in the category of up to down, which means the prior trend was up, and now because it would have broken its previous swing low, and that's why it has come on the downside. Similarly, the things which will be breaking above the previous high, they will come under down to up section, and you should be able to see it in the scanner. So as I mentioned, Dow Jones scanner nahi hai, it's Dow Trend scanner, and it helps you identify where, which are the stocks that are making higher high, higher lows, or where is it that the turnaround is happening. So if something is just up, that means they have been making higher tops, higher bottoms, and so far they are in an uptrend, right? Similarly, the ones where it is down, basically they are making lower tops, lower bottom, and and that's where the trend is down over here, right? So that's how you need to look at this. Patil PR. So as I mentioned, which are the sectors that is looking good for next week? See, there are different ways. I of course try to do it based on RMI scanner, and also I use heat map, right? So in heat map, if you see the Nifty index, so say for example, this was the up move. This is the up move that we have seen from 30th September, right? So over here, in fact, now see, let's do this. Okay, you always have to identify one point, right? So it was, let's see, between 30th June to 1st October. Okay, let's do the custom 30th June to 1st September. Okay, this was basically this sideways zone, and in this period you will see that Nifty had gone down by 3.5%, but all the sectors that are above that, those were outperformers. And you can see over here, metal is coming, auto is coming, right? And if you see that in this up move, they have done well, right? Now I think that this up move is unfolding, right? So now I want to do the other scan, which is that from 1st of September, I mean the 30th of September till date, which are the sectors that are doing well. Okay, I would only want to focus, I mean, I would think that the momentum is over there, so that is where I would want to focus more, right? So when I do this, Nifty 50 either hai, so everything that is above that, so you can see reality is doing well, PSU bank is doing well, private banks is doing well, infrastructure is doing well, IT is doing well, while everyone are thinking that it's an underperformer. But from this low to this high, IT has again been an outperformer. So this is where I would want to focus more on, because these are the ones that are leading this rally, right? So that's where you can do this heat map comparison from time to time. So over here, say if reality is looking good, then within reality, which are the sectors that are doing well? So it comes to Godrej Properties, Prestige, and so on. So as I have mentioned earlier, you can put them into the watch list and keep a track of them by observing it every day, whether you are getting any signals or no. But this is how I would want to think that. So your question was that which sectors are will do well in the next week. I would expect things from this, because these are the ones that are outperforming the Nifty index. I hope that clarifies your question, Patil PR. Okay, so are there any more questions? So it's already 11:33 now. So let me know if there are any more questions that we have. If not, then we can wind up the session for today. Okay, so I don't see any questions. So let's see what the market does. As I mentioned that 26,000 in the options market looks very good. I mean, there is a strong base over there. So, I don't think that the Nifty future should go below 26,000. If it does, and if it sustains below that, then yes, we are at the risk of, seeing a bit of a correction and coming towards the lower end of the range, which I think lower end of the range is, say, somewhere around 25,700 or so. So I think those will be, so that is the near term outlook that is there. So let's see. The only thing is that over here right now, one important observation was that the small cap has still not seen that bigger move, as Nifty and the mid cap index have seen. So I think there will be still some opportunities that you might end up seeing. So yeah, I mean, the only thing will be that stick to the outperformers, because now the breadth might get a little narrower. So yeah, so stick to the outperformers. I mean, that is what I can say, looking at the way how things are playing out. Patil Pierre, your question is that Saturday webinar is for FNO guys. No, the rollover analysis that we are trying to conduct the webinar on. So that gives a bit of a positional view as well. And anyways, if at all I mean, those setups are suggesting bullishness, then you can of course do delivery as well, right? For that, so it should be for the cash guys as well. I'm sure this feature will help you and make you understand how people are positioned on the stock, so that when is it that you need to stay on the back foot, and when is it that you have to be on the front foot and try and accumulate more. So I think you will get a very good perspective of that, right? So do attend the webinar on Saturday. That will help you find some good short to medium term picks. So that's it. Thanks a lot for joining today, and let's catch up tomorrow.